What's up, everybody? Today we are doing a new segment on my channel. Not like I post consistently, but we're doing an outdoor podcast. I don't know if all of these will be outdoors. Very likely they could just end up back on Discord like how they have been on my other channels, but we're here nonetheless. Dane, Armaan, the first two guests of my vlog channel podcast, I guess. I don't know, I don't have a name for it. This won't turn into a series either because I don't post consistently. But what we're gonna talk about today is our Arizona vlog, which if you haven't seen it, that is up on the channel. It's about an hour long, but we're gonna just kind of talk about the trip more in depth. This is the first trip that we had taken. It was a trip for Armaan because he's been in Arizona for the last 3 years now, which is a big reason why we went down there. But you know, there was actually a whole lot more to talk about than what you saw on the video. So we're gonna talk about that today. But before we do that, for those of you guys who don't know us, this is Dane. Dane, do you want to do any type of introduction?
I'm good.
Okay, Armaan. We have Armaan here. Armaan has his own channel. He's been doing singing stuff. I don't know. Do you want to do an introduction?
No, I mean, we've been doing a bunch of stuff together for a while now.
Yeah.
You guys have probably seen me on some of his other podcasts or on random podcasts that we both hosted together.
Yep.
And then we have our own personal channels, and we'll just throw all that stuff in the bottom.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll do a little backstory first, just so there's some context here. Okay. So Dane and I have been friends since middle school, and I think we really started to become friends once we started going to rec, the rec center, and playing basketball. Eighth grade, freshman year of high school. We were literally playing basketball every single day. So I think that's kind of where we got started. And then with you, I actually didn't become close to Armaan until probably like after COVID, right? I mean, like, cause like we were friends before that, but we didn't become like good friends till, and what was that, like 2021, 2022, near the end of high school for us.
It was Lausanne's class.
Yeah, because
we were in the
AP
same
World
group
History.
or whatever.
Yes, yes, and I guess, I mean, Star Wars was a huge thing that we connected on. Of course, the history stuff too from class, because that was something we were both interested in, you know, stuff like that. So, and you two?
We've been friends since
7th grade.
I don't really know how we became friends. We had a class together.
We had a class together, and so one of our other friends, Joey,
Shout out Joey.
Joey and I met really early in 7th grade. He was kind of one of the first people I met when I moved here. Context, I moved here in 7th grade. And then Joey and I used to, what? I moved here in 6th, like at the end, and there was but 7th grade was when I started going to school with you guys.
Yeah.
And I used to walk home with Joey because he and I live like 5 minutes away. So we would walk home in middle school together, and then he had been friends with you for, I don't know, you guys like grew up together, right?
Yeah, me and Joey both went to EK together, so we've known each other since
so elementary school. And so I met you through walking home with him. And
because I never walked home consistently. We met in like a class.
I think we had met in school. Yeah, he introduced me.
And then
because I was,
grade,
I knew him. Oh, you're right.
That's when actually 7th grade I started going out with your family.
Was it 7th?
I think it was 7th grade.
It might have been. I don't know. Dane and I have been close for a while
We go
now.
way back.
9 years now?
Yeah. He's like my oldest friend in Hawaii. And so we've spent a lot of time together. I don't even know where it all started, actually.
I don't know.
Now I think about it, yeah.
Now, for even more context, I guess because it's even crazier, because our middle school, which is the time that all of us met about, there were track systems. So the school didn't have enough buildings to support all of the kids going to the school. So we had different tracks, which basically split us up into quarters. And we were all in the same track. They were done by color, so we were in red track. So that's, I mean, like, you knew people from other tracks, but you were the closest with the people in your tracks because those are the people that you're going to be in classes with from 6th to 8th grade. So, I mean, that's obviously a huge part in why, you know, we've all been friends for as long as we have been, just knowing each other too.
Because even us, we met in middle school.
No, right.
And like, we had Ogata's class together, I remember that.
Yeah.
But then you're right, we didn't get close until high school.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, we've you guys have been friends for a long time, but all of us in general, I mean, we've been friends for a while now.
Now it's been years.
Right? I mean, we all went on a damn trip together, so, you know.
That'll say something about how close we are.
So, to the trip now that you guys have context. We started off in Phoenix. Now, for him, it was as much well, not as much, but he still had to travel a decent bit, like how we did. Dane and I came from Hawaii, obviously. We're gonna get to that because that was a disaster for me, at least at the end of the flight.
I was gonna say I was fine.
He was totally fine. So we had a red eye, and I was totally fine the entire time up until we were about to land. Now, I didn't realize this till about a day before the trip ended, that I had eaten chili for dinner the night of the trip, and I ate so much beans in that chili that I think I just got gassy. It made me feel so nauseous at the end of the flight, and the flight was about 6 hours long or so, and it just got to me. But I hadn't realized that because I was like, oh, maybe I'm just getting motion sick from the plane and the turbulence and stuff. Yeah, so it was just, I felt like I was gonna puke on the plane. It was the first time I had ever felt like that, and it was not a great way to start the trip. But we had to push through anyway as it begins to drip. This is going to be an interesting podcast, guys. All right,
We called it. Yeah.
How was your travel?
Oh man, it was this crazy trek of mine. I had to really, fight my way down. It's like an hour and a half drive to Phoenix from where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't actually that bad. It was just early.
Drive too, yeah?
No, I took a shuttle. The only thing that sucked about mine was I was trying to meet them when they were landing, and they landed at like 6 a.m. or something like that in Phoenix.
Yep.
So I ended up taking a shuttle at like 3 a.m. from my university down to Phoenix, met up with you guys at 6, and then as soon as we got the car, we were running around.
Oh, it's the car.
That was,
oh my god. Okay,
The
so
car is a very
That was
bad
interesting.
situation. We almost did not have one.
Yes.
so what happened? Okay, what happened? And see, this is the stuff that we didn't get because, like, okay, mind you, and this is the reason why I didn't record this stuff is because I was feeling like shit. So there's a reason why some things are not on camera, and we're talking about it now. But what happened was, you had booked the car, and because it wasn't under your name and under your parents' name, and this is a whole situation because none of us are 25, and if you guys don't know, like, if you're not 25, you can rent a car on your own, and if you do, there's extra fees, basically. And so I had to put it under my name, right?
Yeah.
This is what ended up happening because I was 21. So, like, technically you can, but because you were
because
right,
Brayden and I are both 21.
Or it was a credit card. Sorry,
it was a credit card.
It was a credit card. The credit card had to be under your name.
Yeah. So at the time, I was an authorized user under my parents' card, but because it wasn't in my name, right, college kid, I never really thought about it before. I was still building credit. It just wasn't my own card. And so because of that, we showed up there, and they wouldn't let me use that credit card. So I told them, I was like, hey, I've got a debit card with more than enough money on it for this trip. I was like, I had already budgeted out for the car. And they were like, yeah, we can't do that. And so luckily, Brayden was also 21, and so he was able to put it onto his own credit card. But otherwise, we would have gotten a car regardless. But the difference is that the option that they gave us, so for me to use my debit card for that one, the place that we would have had to book it from didn't open until 9 a.m. So we're standing there at like 6:30 in the morning, and the guy at the counter is like, yeah, so if you want to use your card, this place opens at 9. They'll take you then, and you guys can get a car. But that would have meant we were sitting in the rental car center at Phoenix Sky Harbor for like 2.5 hours waiting for this place to open up. And so it worked out better that we were able to use his card. We got straight in the car, and then we pushed out for our trip.
Yeah, on time, because we had stuff scheduled for that day as well, and we would have lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
Mind you guys, he had one job.
And I did.
His
only
job.
job was the car.
I booked all the hotels. You booked
Yeah.
any stuff we did.
Yeah.
And we booked our flights.
Yeah, we planned everything.
This guy had
I
one
literally
job,
had one job.
and Brayden did it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then we're about to go out, and then we realize, because it's under my name, you know, I'm the one who has to be driving the whole time. So we're about to leave, and then there's the guy at the post, and then Dane's actually the one driving. So then we turned around, and then I have to just hop in the car just for the sake of like, oh yeah, I'm the one driving, and then I almost hit the post on the way out, which is a big reason why I didn't drive at all for the remainder of the trip until we came back. But yeah, so
That's not the only close call we had that trip though. We had one more up in Prescott that we can get to later.
yes, we will get to
that
that
me?
later.
That's the one where I like had to hit your arm.
Oh my God!
We'll
yes,
get to that later.
Yes,
We'll get to that
yes.
So
Yeah.
But
That
yeah.
was almost a really bad day.
That was
that
way
would
worse.
have been really bad.
But yeah, so it was a kind of chaotic start to the
Yeah.
day, just not really knowing what would happen. And, you know, I mean, like you said, we were going to get a car regardless. It was just like, you know, how is this going to change our
Timeline.
plans? Because, mind you, I mean, if you guys watched the video, I mean, we spent a day in each spot. So there really wasn't a ton of time to lose. Like, we were trying to maximize our time in every single city. So any time that we would potentially lose would have been devastating to our plans, really.
Yeah.
We were really going
And this
that whole trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
exactly.
it was full send.
And the whole time we were trying to figure out the rental car thing, his stomach is messed up. I mean, they had both just gotten off of a long flight, you know, Hawaii to Phoenix. Coming out, what was it, 8 hours?
I was only 6.
It was
6?
6, yeah.
Oh, is it faster?
It's
yeah,
faster
yeah, you're right,
to
you're right,
the
right.
mainland.
Going back,
Yeah.
I think it was
Going
7
back, yeah.
and a half.
Going back, yeah.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
But still, you know, 6 hours and change in the air. I had just gotten off a shuttle. Well, I was up at 2 a.m. driving down to get there by 6. So we were all kind of sleep deprived. His stomach was messed up. This rental car thing was, it was a great way to start.
Yeah, there's a lot of awkward silence in that rental car place.
Yes.
Of what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah. And a lot of it was also, I mean, I know for me, half of that awkward silence was me just trying to wake up. Because I was like, what's going on? I wasn't thinking straight. I was like, man, what do we do?
And I wanted to put it on my card because like I have a lot of credit.
Yeah, and you
couldn't
I've
'cause you were
had
20.
my card for a while.
Yeah,
but I'm
and
not
so
of age.
he wasn't old enough because you have to be 21.
Yeah.
So that just made it even harder for us to like plan it out. And I know that kind of messed you up because you had your credit limit set for
Well,
like the entirety of the trip.
Yeah,
That was your plan.
I wasn't. See, I got lucky because I think I just paid off my bill, so
Yeah.
it reset. But I was like, good thing I had as much as I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general too.
No,
Forget the limit. I just
That is true. That is true.
Because I mean, renting a car is not cheap either. But and we did split it. I mean, if you guys care about that, but it's like just
Yeah,
having to
but
put
still.
that charge against your card too. I mean, it's a lot
Yeah.
of money, right?
We can't
So-
pay with Venmo. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It would have been easier that way.
And at the time, I'm the only one working full time. I mean, I
Yeah.
still am.
You
Yeah.
still are, yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll do it. But then
Yeah. I mean, you've got your internship where you're working.
Right, but
I'm
I'm
a
not-
full-time
I'm not-
student. I'm not
You're
doing
paid
anything.
full-time.
I'm not. Yeah, full-time hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
you
exactly.
get full time hours, just not.
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a podcast for another time.
I know.
Okay, so transitioning to actually what we did in
Yes.
Phoenix. The first thing that we did was, I believe it's called Papago Park, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
The Fries, I feel like is the supermarket.
Oh,
I feel like it's worth mentioning.
yeah, 'cause
we
did
did
it.
do that
Yes,
first.
that's right. That's right.
That did take us a good like hour and a half.
That was
Yes.
a while. So we have a chain in Phoenix. And anybody who's watching from the continental U.S., you'll know the Kroger brand markets. And Fry's is one of them. And so I was showing them Fry's, and you know, we showed up. And what? Interstate.
Continental U.S. The mainland.
Sorry, the mainland. But so we ended up going to Fry's, and the plan was to get breakfast there because, like I said, you know, it was early in the morning. We're there. I think by the time we got out the airport, it was like 7 something, and so probably 7:30. We're at Fry's. We ended up. We got donuts.
We got half dozen
That's what it
donuts
is.
We
from
spent a good 20, 30 minutes
trying to open the container.
Oh
just
my gosh.
opening it and just standing there figuring out
Yes,
what we're gonna buy.
trying to figure out which donuts we wanted.
It's just donuts.
It was good though. It was $1 a donut, and
Well-
so we walked away with a pretty cheap breakfast to start out the trip.
The other dilemma we had was we were looking for chips, I think, or just some snacks, and then we saw how expensive it was too.
Oh,
and then we
yes.
ended up just pacing around like, oh, do
The
we want this? Do we
$5
want that?
Doritos.
That's what it was. I was trying to figure out which chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, like one of those family size, and it was like $5.79 for Doritos, and we were like, yeah, we don't need snacks that bad. And then we picked up like a case of water that we could just keep in the car.
Like $4.
And the case, yeah, it was $4 for like 24 bottles or 30 bottles or something like that. It lasted the entire trip.
That's crazy.
And it was cheaper than a bag of Doritos that we would have gone through in 2 days, not even.
Yeah.
So it was dumb.
Worth it.
It was so dumb.
That's value right there.
But yeah, fries was,
We didn't even finish the whole thing.
No, we did it.
no,
We did it. Yeah.
I had leftover stuff, so at the end of the trip, I ended up just taking it back to my dorm, and I had water bottles for like another week, so it was good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like literally, and I usually drink like, I have my hydro flask, but when I'm in my dorm, I like those just bottled water because it's easier to keep track of how many, and I don't have to refill the bottle. And so I usually have at least 1 or 2 of those a day when I'm inside the dorm. And it lasted me another week. So we must have had probably 10 or 12 bottles
That's
left
kind of crazy. To
out
think
of the...
about.
you know what? I think it was a 48 pack. I don't
Oh,
think it was.
Was
It was, right?
It was a big
Because
pack.
24 is way too small. We would have gone through that.
Because I drink about 5 or 6 a day, I think.
Yeah. Because I was making sure that everybody stayed hydrated because, we're used to the humidity out here. Arizona's not humid, but it's still that dry heat. And so it's important to make sure, and we were outside for most of the trip. And so it was really important for us to stay hydrated. And so we had our hydro flasks everywhere. We were pounding water.
Well, Brandon was awake from us.
But,
Yeah, when I was awake.
That is true.
Yeah.
Dane and I were drinking a lot of water, and then Braden would drink water when he was alive and awake, which was every time we stopped the car. This man has it's vehicle-induced narcolepsy, I swear, because as soon as he gets into the car, he just knocks out, and then we park, and he wakes up, and it was almost every drive, and this was a road trip. And so we're driving, hours between places sometimes. And Braden would knock out, like before we left the first parking lot. And then he would wake up when we got to the next one. And so it was a lot of Dane and I, talking the whole trip because he wasn't awake to keep us up.
Okay, here. You guys both watched Worth It, right? Like the food thing from BuzzFeed.
Yes.
So basically,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
what it was like is how they have the two guys. What's his name? Steven and I forgot what the other guy's name is. But then there's Adam in the back seat. Like I was basically Adam. Where these two guys are talking in the front, and the main reason why I'm not talking is because their voices are projecting this way, so I can't really hear what's going on. So I'm just sitting back there in silence, and then I just fall asleep. So that's what happened most of the time. I actually couldn't hear I remember you guys.
That is true, yeah.
You guys would be silent for a second, and then you guys would look back at me. I'm like, what? And you guys we're talking to you. I'm like, I can't hear you. So, that was part.
It
of
was also bad though because all three of us love music, and so part of that was just we always had the music up, and then we would talk to you and you wouldn't hear us.
Yeah,
and then we were just like, why aren't you listening to us?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, maybe we should turn down the music.
But later in the trip, it was a blessing you were in the back because you were sick, for the majority of it.
Oh yeah.
So you could just kind of sleep when you
Yeah.
That
That
is true.
That I think the whole nauseated feeling at the beginning was just bad. It was just bad. Just that, and then we didn't sleep a whole lot that day either, and we pretty much did a full day of stuff.
So we got to the airport at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock ish, and then we didn't actually get to our hotel in Phoenix till what, 2:30?
Was it 2 o'clock? We got in a little bit
2 o'clock.
early.
Yeah, it was
2
an early
o'clock,
check-in. Yeah, so we were.
Oh, that's right.
We were out and about.
We did a bunch of stuff between the airport and the hotel because we couldn't check in yet, and so in order to stay awake for all of us, we drove around and did a bunch of stuff. So the park he mentioned, Papago Park.
Yeah.
Papago,
Was that one in the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I've not watched it because I was there.
Oh, that's fair. We watched it together before he posted it.
Yeah.
But that one.
So
Papago Park.
that park is actually it's right in Phoenix. It's right next to one of Arizona State's campuses, and it's right next to the Phoenix Zoo. So it's kind of around places. That's a great point. Guys,
Oh.
if sprinklers go off here, I'm telling you right now, unedited, we are going to do the entire evacuation plan, and you guys are going to see the entire thing.
Do we have an evacuation plan?
Oh, yeah, it's run.
I was not briefed on this.
It's run.
I was gonna say.
We're doing a scouting.
Yeah, I'm checking for sprinklers now.
I'll continue on. Basically, this place, it's a huge park. It's a huge park.
Clear.
And the thing that is the big attraction of this park is that there's a giant hole in like the mountain hillside of this thing. So
It's
you can-
called Hole in the Rock.
Hole in the Rock, yeah. And you can literally walk up there and just get an entire view of the place. So, I mean, I think that was a good start because I think that
Oh,
place, it was like, oh, you know, when you close your eyes and you imagine what does Arizona look like, I felt like that is it right there.
Yes.
You know, just
And there was like this little desert oasis
Yes.
right there too.
Yeah.
So we had a lake, there were palm trees, there was the whole thing. But then you look out in the background and you've got mountains, you've got
Yep.
desert, just sand everywhere.
Yep.
And then you've got the city. And so it was cool for them to be, I'm glad that we went there because you guys were really able to see a good chunk of what Phoenix looks like. But then you also got a lot of the pretty things that you don't necessarily see all the time in the desert, like that little lake. And then having
Right.
the view from the hole was pretty cool too. And so being able to go all the way up there, it was definitely a good spot to start the trip. It set us up for a pretty good time.
yeah. No, I enjoyed that. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, like I thought it was gonna be more like, you know, as we go through the trip, we would kind of see more of what I was expecting, but it was like, no, as soon as we got there, it was like, oh yeah, we are in Arizona.
Yeah.
There is no question about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
after that, help me out here. We went to, because I know we went to the Sea Life
aquarium.
Park thing, right? Is that what we hit exactly after? I feel like we might have done something else. I could be tripping.
We went to the
It's your
botanical garden, and then we got there, and they were like, "Yeah, it's $30 a person," and so we all just turned around and we we left. We were like,
Yeah.
"Nope, we have flowers at home. We don't need to see 100 different types of cactus
And we went to
for
Chipotle.
$30."
You're
Yeah, we
right.
went-
That's
oh,
right.
you're right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to Chipotle for lunch. Yeah, because I mean, here in Hawaii there is no Chipotle, so for us that's like, you know,
Yeah,
that's
that
a
honestly was
big
probably
deal.
a really stupid choice considering your.
Well, see, but
Yeah,
that's
it
the
did
thing.
not help his
Yeah,
stomach.
and at the time I didn't know it, and I just put more beans in me, and I
Yep.
actually felt worse as the day went on.
We did.
So
Yeah. I remember
Now-
when we stopped at Walmart. He didn't even get out the car.
no, I slept.
Yeah, you stayed in the car, and well, remember too for dinner. I mean, so we wanted to catch the sunset, you know, as you do.
Oh, but
Um,
that was not the plan for the first.
That was not the plan.
You're right.
We were actually supposed to go to an NBA game, Suns versus
Yes.
Raptors or something.
Yes.
But because I was feeling so terribly, I didn't want to just sit there in the arena. So
Yeah.
we ended up pivoting our plans and doing
Yep.
something else. But
So Braden actually slept. He took a pretty decent nap. We decided we weren't going to do the NBA game. So Dane and I were just hanging out. And then we were like, hey, let's go catch the sunset. So we found this lookout point. Woke Braden up. And we were like, hey, man, you know, let's at least go watch the sunset. And then that way we can come back, call it an early night, and then wake up tomorrow with a lot of energy. And I think that was one of our best decisions on
Yeah.
this trip.
That was
Yeah.
probably the nicest sunset on the trip.
That lookout, yeah. Honestly, yes. I think that was the best sunset we got. We had 3 sunsets in particular. One was in Phoenix, this one that we're talking about. And then the second one was in Sedona.
Yep.
And then the third one was at the Grand Canyon. And everybody would think like, oh, Grand Canyon, that's got to be the best one. Or Sedona, you know, they're known for their sunsets. But honestly, it was the Phoenix lookout. We had the most incredible view. I mean, we were up there. I don't know what our elevation was at, but it was high. And Phoenix is not a very high elevation city, but we were at probably...
yeah, it's called the Valley.
Yeah, exactly. That's true, yeah. We were probably at least 1,500 feet, maybe 2,000. Because when we were driving up, it was up.
I think it was about like a 40-minute drive.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It was a long
Yeah,
time
just from the
in the
entrance
car.
to that part.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably a good 30 or so minutes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was windy as hell.
So that was something that we kind of got surprised by because we were trying to find something close so that Braden, you know, he was feeling unwell. So we were like, okay, let's just do something close to the hotel. So I punched it into my GPS, and I guess this lookout was part of a state park, but the GPS took me to the entrance of the park, not to the lookout. So we get there, and it's like, you have arrived, and then I see signs on the road saying lookout up ahead, and so I'm like, oh, okay, it's right here. And we drove for like 25-30 minutes through the state park, going up this windy road, going up this hill. And so all in all, it turned into like a 40-45 minute drive just to get to the lookout. But then once we got there, though, you seemed like you were feeling better. You were kind of, you know, a little bit of sun helps you.
Yeah.
I think it was good. So we ended up, we got up there, and I set up the tripod, took the cameras out, and we watched a pretty incredible sunset. It was in the vlog, right?
I put all the sunsets in the vlog, but
because that one was very vlog worthy. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I was glad that I was glad that we did that. We changed our plans to do that because that wasn't planned, obviously, and that was a honestly lucky recovery for me. I mean, just to turn it around like that was. Although I did lay one down there, and I had to mention that only because this thing, the bathrooms had no doors, and it was like the toilet that like it just drops 20 feet. So whatever you put down there is just, it's a hole.
Can we give them some backstory on your shitting?
I think you guys can kind of tell that I have a chronic issue. Just to put it very blunt, I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Yeah.
But of course, like, I mean, as it was, like, maybe eating as much beans as I did and then sitting on a flight, like, more of the story, don't eat foods that are going to get you gassy on a 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
That, if I didn't do that, I would have been completely fine. Like, actually.
Probably.
Because I didn't have any problems for the rest of the trip.
Well,
What?
were you not, like, was your stomach not
I
messed
guess
up the whole trip?
it's true.
No,
he was pretty fine.
I was fine.
Actually.
I thought that's why you were sleeping all the time, because you felt sick.
Oh, no. I was sleeping because
The first day
I
he was
couldn't hear
sleeping because
anyone.
he felt sick, and then
Yeah,
after that
yeah.
it was just he was sleeping because he was sleeping.
Oh, that's crazy. I thought your stomach was
Oh, no.
I felt like
I
it
was totally
every,
fine.
after every meal.
Oh,
every trip
no.
that you were
Oh no, brother.
I mean,
An
here,
attack.
just think about it, okay?
That's all it is.
We're driving straight for an hour, and I'm not talking to anyone, and the music's down, so it's like I'm just sitting back.
That is fair, yeah.
sleeping.
That
It
is
was
fair.
crunchy almost that whole
Like,
trip.
my eyes are just gonna get heavy eventually, but
Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, there was nothing wrong with that. I didn't mind sleeping because it just made the travel feel quicker, and I spent more of my time awake actually, like exploring. So there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that was our first date. Now I will say, okay, that was a great one because we got to see the entire view of Phoenix, like the city landscape.
Yeah.
But then on the other half, we also got to see like
The desert.
and all of that, and just like the cactus and the rocks and all that. It was just a good blend of both things, and
I agree.
there was a lot of people there at that viewpoint, and understandably so. Like, that was a really, really cool spot, and just to see the orange of like this. I mean, like, that might sound stupid, but like the orange was actually so vibrant, and it just spread across the entire horizon. That was cool. Now I will say
The clouds were lined up perfectly.
that too.
yeah.
It was like just making it space for the sun.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Okay, when you grow up in a place like Hawaii, we have some of the best, if not the best, sunsets in the world. When you're looking at like the horizon line, when you're looking at the ocean, anything like that, it's incredible. But I tell you what, there is the one thing that will always make sunsets better, in my opinion, is good clouds. And when I say good clouds, like when you get it doesn't have to be like really big clouds, but it's got to be like that blanket cloud. I don't know what it's called, but cirrus clouds. I don't know.
I'm not a
The blanket one.
cloudologist.
Yeah, I don't. A urologist? Is that what you said?
No, a cloud. I said a cloudologist.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
As you can tell, we're not cloudologists. And so,
All right, we're rocking with that.
yeah, we're rocking with it. But yeah, we got really lucky with it was the perfect amount of. There were a couple like strands kind of on their own. and then there was a nice blanket over,
Yeah.
and the colors that we get, and it was incredible. And it, like you said, the orange is really nice, but it's cool because you get that purple at the end too.
Oh yeah, that haze.
That
yeah.
pinkish purple,
Yeah.
right? And it was really, really good. I mean, that was fantastic.
All that being said, the reason why I brought that up was to make sure that you guys know that was a really good one for me. But I mean, the Grand Canyon for me, I was kind of just amazed by everything.
Oh,
That was my favorite, and we'll get to that later. And a visual for what we're talking about is on the vlog. So if you guys are interested more in that, day 2 rolls around, and
oh wait, before we move on to day 2.
Yeah.
So before we hit the sunset and stuff, I know we kind of skipped over it, but we did do an aquarium.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. We did the Papago Park, finished that up, and we were just like, man, we have so much time to kill. It's like 10 in the morning. We can't check in until 3. And so we were like, let's go do something. So we found this aquarium, went and did that. That was pretty cool. We got to see some cool sharks and stuff. They had one of those 360 tunnels, so that's always fun. You know, you walk on the inside and you get to see everything above you. So we ran
one thing
through.
about that one though,
It's kind of short.
it was supposed to take 2 hours. I think we finished it in what, 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
quick.
We took our time too.
And
We
that
were-
was
rushed.
that was us taking
We
our
had no
time.
rush.
and then
Yeah.
we realized it's
Yeah.
for children.
Yeah. So online it said, oh yeah, you know, you need at least an hour and a half, 2 hours to enjoy this. And so we were like, oh, perfect. We'll be able to do this, and then we'll get out, you know, maybe get some food, and then we can check into the hotel. Everything will be ready. And yeah, when we showed, it did not take very long. It was probably less than 45, honestly. And that was
Might have
us
been.
really taking our time.
You were taking pictures.
Yeah, I'm talking like every tank. I'm standing there with my camera taking pictures. I mean, we even at some points, like they had like these little interactive areas and stuff like that. We stuck around there, did whatever the activity was, and then moved on. And so it was really short compared to what we were expecting. But we did also, I mean, to be fair, we went through all the aquariums on Google Maps, and then we chose the cheapest one because we were like, we don't want to spend too much money.
On an aquarium,
on
when
an
we
aquarium.
live in an island surrounded by
Yeah, so we were like, okay, maybe not. But I mean, I would still say it was good considering what we paid for it. I want to say it was like 15 a person, so really
Yeah, it
not too
wasn't
bad.
much.
Yeah, and it was good. We had a good time. It was enjoyable. It could have been more, but that's okay.
My favorite part of that aquarium was actually, I don't know if it was stingrays or manta rays, but there was that thing that platform that you could walk over them, and it was like glass, so you could see them swimming below.
Yeah.
I like that
That was cool.
because you could either walk over it, and then like you said, there was like the tunnel, so you could walk under it,
Yeah.
through it, which was more for kids. But I mean, I
Rest
think
in
we
peace,
all
Steve.
crawled through it. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
One of my favorites was they had this tank with like this mosasaur skeleton that they had put in there. So it was the decor of the tank was really cool because you got like this
Was that when the
dinosaur.
fish got stuck in it?
Yeah, so the grouper, there was like, if you guys know fish, groupers are pretty big. And so this
right.
thing had a grouper in it, and the grouper had gone into the skull of the mosasaur.
that's right.
And so it's sitting in there, and we couldn't tell. I mean, as it is, groupers are bottom feeders. You know, they kind of hang out, and then when they want to move, they will, and then they stay put. So he might have just been hanging out there, but it was, yeah, he looked like he was stuck.
Well, they can't swim backwards.
I was gonna say, I don't know if fish can reverse.
They can't.
Yeah, so he was probably stuck.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he was stuck in there. But it was cool though because there were like sharks in the background and stuff. And so I got some pretty cool pictures of this like dinosaur skeleton with sharks swimming over it and stuff. So I really liked that.
Yeah.
That was a cool one for me because I just enjoyed taking the photos of it, seeing the whole decor.
Those exhibits in general, I think, are pretty cool. Just because it's like you go from one end of the aquarium and you see an angle, and then you go to another angle, and then because it's on a different side of the aquarium, it's just that
yeah.
big. You know, I enjoy those, and I think those are also probably the best tanks too, if we want to think about it ethically. Where it's like
Yeah.
like this is the
The big
biggest
ones,
tank, and they
yeah.
actually have spaces to swim, and especially with fishes like he was mentioning.
Yeah.
need to have that space, but I can only imagine what that grouper was thinking. He's probably like, shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm
He's just
stuck.
He's not getting out.
No, he's not.
That's crazy.
Unless the feeders went in.
I'm sure that's
They
what
had to
happened.
dive and turn him around.
No, they like grab his tail and pull him. That's the only way he can back up. No,
Yeah,
but
that's
that was cool.
Design flaw.
Yeah. So that was day one.
That was day one. Yeah, day two. So this was our first like lengthy trip, and truthfully, all of our road trips were pretty long. But this one, we were heading
this one was the longest though.
into the direction of Flagstaff with the stop of Sedona on the way. So we made 2 stops. The first one was Montezuma Castle. So that was like literally a castle that was in what cliff?
It's like built into a
Not a
cliff
mountain,
face.
yeah,
I
cliff.
forgot we stopped over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause
Montezuma Castle, and then we went to the well.
the well, yes,
Yeah.
which was a lake. Well,
It was a lake. Yeah.
which was a lake.
It was a lake.
But
But the castle was also not a castle. It was like,
It was a dwelling.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like, you know, when you're in grade school and you do your like American history, but it was the chapter on all the different Indian tribes,
Yeah.
and then you get to like the Navajo, I think, and the ones who made pueblos. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like that clay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like, except it wasn't sitting like on the dirt. It was in the mountain.
Yeah.
But it literally just looked like a box. It was like a Lego house.
Yeah, it was like weatherproof houses, right? That was also
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. I think that's the
And
goal
it was to
for
fight
it.
against the wind.
I'm pretty sure. So that was cool though. That was very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I think what was also fascinating about it was because we didn't know about the well either. So we had spent time at the castle as if that was all we were gonna do. But then we heard about the well, which was I think a 15-minute drive away. Was it 15 minutes? I think roughly. But
something like that.
We go down there, and this thing is connected to the other place that we visited. Turns out there's a ton more sites that are even like 30, 45 minutes out. So like this tribe extended out pretty far, and we saw the same type of dwellings, not to the same size, but we saw it at the well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean there wasn't a ton, but then
Also in the cliff face.
in the cliff,
of the well,
And so I thought that was pretty cool as well. But we I think documented more of the well than we did the castle.
I think so.
Because
yeah.
the castle was kind of just the castle, but then there was more to see at the well, not from an architecture standpoint, but just from a nature standpoint. But yeah, that was all really cool, and that was another time where we just improvised. We were kind of like, oh, okay, well, you know what, we're here.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out.
And that's because this was a Tuesday. This was our
Tuesday in Arizona.
A Tuesday in Arizona. So the reason why we're all groaning about the Tuesday is because we had planned so much for that specific day. We did not thinking, okay, it's a weekday, things are going to be open. There were so many, all of our plans were closed.
What was the original plan for that day?
So originally,
museum.
it was the museum. It was the
That's what it
Pioneer
was.
History Museum that we were trying to do in the morning, which happens to be closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I think, are the only days that it's
No,
closed
I believe it
out of the
was
week.
only
I think
It might have been only
It was
Tuesdays.
just Tuesdays.
So the Pioneer Living History Museum, so we missed that one, and so we improvised and went to the Montezuma Castle, did the Montezuma Well and stuff, and then, but also part of our, jumping a little bit ahead, the original plan was the museum in the morning, and then drive to Sedona. Once we were in Sedona, we were going to do Red Rock State Park, and then after Red Rock, we also we're the blue McDonald's in Sedona. That's pretty famous. The turquoise arches, and so we were gonna hit all these stops in Sedona, catch the sunset, and then after sunset drive to Flagstaff. And the intention was to get to Flagstaff, go to the Lowell Observatory, and go stargaze that Tuesday night. So we missed we missed the museum. Did Montezuma Well and Castle, drove to Sedona, and spent so much time at the McDonald's that we missed the state park because it closed at 5, and we didn't know that. And
the entrance closed.
The
at 5.
entrance, yeah. And so they weren't allowing new visitors after 5 p.m. And we showed up at like 5:15.
Yeah.
And they were closed. and we missed it.
Let's talk about this too. I understand that McDonald's is famous because it's the only one without yellow arches, but we went in there, and that had to be the busiest I've ever seen a McDonald's inside the restaurant.
It was
like an entire
crazy.
field trip was there.
Yeah.
When we got there, so I think we were on time, truthfully, because if there wasn't that outrageous amount of people, we could have made it there at
That
5.
is true.
But there were so many people, and there was like 4 workers.
Yeah.
We were I mean, it's like, this is fast food now. This is McDonald's. We were in the restaurant probably waiting for like half an hour. And I don't think that's an exaggeration.
No, that sounds about right.
We were sitting there for a long time.
On a random Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Again, on
you know
a
why
Tuesday.
everyone was there? Because everything else was closed.
Yeah. And so
He's
we
very
missed
mad
the
about this.
yeah, very.
You can't tell.
So we missed the state park, and then found out that Lowell Observatory is closed also the only day of the week on Tuesdays. And so we ended up improvising and just hung out in Sedona a little bit more. We did the scenic drive and then saw Castle Rock.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
That was the one, the
one
airport
with, like,
lookout,
the-
right?
No,
Oh, the
that was
big-
for
are we
Sunset.
Oh, okay.
What
I
was the
thought that's
one
what we were
that-
talking about? I'm sorry.
You remember the one that we drove and then there was like, we pulled into the road, there was like this parking lot, and then you look up and there's a mountain.
Oh, yes,
And then on
I
top of
forgot.
that mountain, there was a bigger rock that
Yes.
looked almost like a castle. I think it's called Castle Rock. I'm not
I forget
sure
what
though.
the name of that was.
We'll Google it
We-
after this
We
podcast
made a
and then
quick
we'll put
stop
it on
there.
this.
We made a quick stop there. Remember,
Yeah.
we took a picture. Like, it was literally
We
just like
hung-
a Sedona rock, pretty much.
Yes.
And then we got back in the car, and then we were weaving our way through like this residential place, and we're like, "Yo, are we supposed to be here?" Do you remember that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was a very
You know
brief
which one?
stop, but it was like,
Yeah.
let's make sure we get a picture of the red
Because
rocks.
that was on our way.
Yeah.
It's this one.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be able to see this with the
Yeah.
brightness,
Go
but
for it.
this is a picture of Castle Rock. So basically, we went and hit that. Got some fantastic pictures, by
They are
the way.
going after.
Yeah.
I know.
If you see us going like this, like
there are a lot of
there's
flies.
a lot of
out
flies.
right now.
We're not like on drugs.
Dude, I feel
Yeah.
like I'm taking most of them for you guys.
For real. This is like so this is supposed to be like this mosquito thing. I don't know if it works on flies. But
I mean, there are some in there.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I haven't been bit, but they're all flying around. But anyway.
Because they're fucking biting me.
Oh.
Crazy. It's the guy with the pants on too.
So Dane's taking them for us.
I have very little skin showing and somehow.
But so anyway, we ended up doing that, drove around a bunch, saw some of tried to see as many rock formations as we could from outside the park, and then decided to go hit the sunset. And because we couldn't stargaze in Flagstaff anymore because Tuesdays, we
That's the only reason we were going up to Flagstaff.
it really was. We were going for the observatory, but so this was also, we should have Googled it. Honestly, this was
yeah,
us.
that's our fault. Yeah.
Yeah, we
But-
did wait a while to book the stuff. That's why.
Exactly. But so we booked the hotel before we found out that the observatory was closed. And then when we found out the observatory was closed, we were like, well, we don't want to remove the hotel because our plans the next morning kind of needed us to leave from Flagstaff. And so on this trip, we were in Flag for about probably 10 hours.
Yeah.
We
Which
drove
we were
up pretty
sleeping.
late at night, and then we just shit. No, we're good.
That's interesting.
That's crazy. You guys can't see. Oh,
Wait.
Dane, that was your side.
Oh my God. Here we go. Evacuation plan is going through right now. I'm actually gonna just keep sitting here. I'm gonna wait till it actually like hits me. No, yeah, it's gonna hit me.
Yeah, these are gonna hit.
All right, let's go. Evacuation plan.
My phone.
Yes, record all of this. Document all of it.
I love that he's pointing the camera.
At the sprinkler.
I need that chair.
All right.
Oh no. Oh shit.
All right, we're setting up right here.
Bro, my Yeti.
I know. Okay. All right, we gotta figure out. Right here.
Okay.
Wow. Our stuff is soaked.
I think
I'm so glad we got this on camera. I had a feeling it was gonna happen. Oh wait, are we? Oh no!
Are we still
come back? All right, we gotta go deep. We gotta go deep into the.
we're gonna come over here.
Dude, let's just sit in the parking lot at this point.
We should.
That's actually not a bad idea. Should we go?
I mean, we will.
Why don't we just set these up in front of your truck?
We will have to make a quick run for it.
Yeah. We have to grab all of our
We also
stuff.
have to grab everything that's.
Okay. So here, let's keep this going. Actually, I'll hold on to this. So
I'm
we're. Oh yeah. Here, give it. Oh yeah. So here we're actually just vlogging now, pretty much. As I almost get rained on. So I had a feeling this was gonna happen because we saw the sprinklers going off, maybe a good 10 yards away from us. We're like, oh yeah, it's not gonna hit us. But yeah, no, here they are. Sprinklers are here. They're active. They're coming for us. And this is basically what the Arizona trip was in a nutshell. Improvising along the way, thinking that we have our entire plan set up. And, some of these things, we had a feeling we weren't going to make it on time too. Oh, look at my shoes too. That's messed up.
Oh, are they dirty?
They're very dirty. They got muddy. So yeah, we are transitioning now over to the parking lot where there are no sprinklers. But we went over to go watch the sunset somewhere else. Oh Jesus. An absolute disaster, guys. Sorry, not the sunset, just this predicament that we are in right now, as my white shoes are no longer white, but now have some brown on them. Sorry, where was I at? The sunset in Sedona. We actually went to a lookout that was like over an airport, but we still got to see the red rocks in the distance. So, we had to improvise because we did actually want to watch the sunset at the state park, but again, because we were late, that was no longer possible. Okay, we are about to reset here. You can watch this entire process go down. I could edit it. I could actually pause it right here. But this is actually kind of funny. This is actually kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. We knew it was gonna happen too. They checked for the
We
sole
also
purpose.
just found out that Dane did not lock his truck. So we've been sitting over there in the bushes with all of our things open. Here, babe, for your chair. Oh, did it get wet? I tried to save them, I tried. Here, if you want to plug your phone.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, my shoes, man. My shoes. Oh man. I'm gonna have to clean them now. I'll just go to Ala Moana and have one of the guys be like, hey, your shoes are dirty, buddy. It's like, yes, please clean them for me. And then they're gonna bother me about buying their product for the next 30 minutes and every time I pass them in the future. Anyway. So, what?
Alright, is everybody in frame?
Actually,
That looks good, that looks good. Hang on, I'm gonna move it over. Oh, okay.
This might be the best podcast of all time. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, nice.
So where we left off,
Where's Dane? Oh, there he is. Okay.
where we left off was that we went to that sunset. Now that sunset, it was all right. I mean, compared to what we had seen.
The Sedona one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was too much clouds that day.
It was too cloudy, and then on top of that too, I mean, when we were in Sedona, it wasn't a great viewpoint for the sunset. The spot that we were at had a really good view of the rocks changing color, but it didn't have a really good view of the actual sun going down. And so we did get we got some cool pictures of the rocks with these orange glows and stuff on them, but I don't remember actually seeing the sun go down proper. I don't think.
Because of the clouds, yeah.
Yeah, that one, wait again. Yeah, it was all blocked the whole time. Trying to remember. You know what would have been a really good spot to go to? Red Rock State Park.
That's what I said.
So that was also
That's
the
what I said
plan.
walking on the way. Like so that was one of the plans. Okay, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, bro, the dirt, bro. Oh my God,
Yeah,
bro.
I know. Like using a rock to
Take the
dirt off of my power wash is crazy.
Anyway, so that didn't go as planned because like of all the places that we would have wanted to see the sunset at, that would have been a cool one because of the color of the rocks.
Yes.
They change as the sun reflects upon them. But we did end up going to a spot that was extremely secluded from any type of light. That we went out to go watch the stars, which is ultimately what we were going to do at the observatory.
Yeah.
But I think we honestly got something better, way better
It was
than
it
what
was
we would have
pretty good.
experienced there. I mean, we're talking about stars that literally filled the sky. And I mean, the only light that we saw that was artificial was any cars that were driving by, which was sparse. That was honestly one of the highlights of the trip, at least for me.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. So we didn't realize.
Besides the fact, the only part that sucked about that this man was clenching his butt.
Well, yeah, I mean,
time.
okay,
fighting for his life.
We thought he was gonna take a outdoor shit that night.
Yes.
I was clenching the entire time, but I clenched it, and
You did.
we
You
went all
did
the way to
clench it.
Flagstaff, and I didn't go.
Yeah.
You're not going in Flagstaff?
No. Well, I mean, when we got to Flagstaff, yeah, I did.
Were you, I don't know if
Like
you
at the
also-
hotel, but like
No, he went.
no,
in
all the way up
in
until that
hotel.
point.
I do
Because I
remember
remember
that.
you guys were like, you sure you don't want to stop somewhere here? And I was like, no,
That's right,
let's just
yeah.
go. Let's
Yeah.
just go.
So we ended up just
Props
pushing
to
through.
you, honestly.
Yeah.
I told you.
I
would've
was
taken
surprised.
that nature
I was surprised because normally you can't hold it like that. So you did
Come
a
back
good
player
job.
of the year, man. Come back player of the year. Give me the award already.
Yeah. No, it was pretty impressive. The stars. I mean, so we found out that Sedona I guess it qualifies as an international dark city because of how low its light pollution is, and so it all just worked out. I mean, the day itself did not work out, but this part kind of helped just because it was a good recovery to a day that went pretty poorly. Planning wise, I think looking back, we actually had a pretty good day.
No, that was a
But-
great
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it could have been maybe better if we had actually hit the things that we wanted to do. But we've,
It was McDonald's,
Yeah.
bro. It was McDonald's.
just some happy little accidents.
We
That's
made it
all.
work.
Yeah,
We have nothing to do.
we were able to improvise, and it worked out pretty well. But then, so yeah, we got to Flagstaff. I mean, man, we got to Flag at probably like close to 1 a.m. It was
No,
pretty-
it wasn't
no?
one. No, I think it was
I
like
thought it
like
was really
10.
early.
10 at the
No, not.
Yes.
Oh, maybe I'm tripping.
Because the sun was going down pretty early.
Didn't we leave? Sunset was at like 7:30, and
No,
then
not even that late.
wasn't it?
It was at about 7. And we didn't stay. We stayed till it was just hit dark, and then we had left for Lovers.
I thought we had left
What was it,
there.
Lovers Point?
Yeah, something like that. I thought we had left there, or 11, and then got to Flag.
We
at,
left
like,
Sedona
No,
at
there's
about
no
9.
way we got there that late.
There's about an hour drive to
oh,
Flag.
okay. So then
We
that's
got
not
to the
bad.
hotel about 10, and then we got Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it couldn't have been that late. Everything was still open.
Yeah. Well, there were
Well,
only a few things that
that is
were
true,
open,
actually.
Just
and that was one of them, which was like literally a minute walking distance from our hotel. But we still took the car,
Yeah.
because it was like 29
It was 20
degrees.
degrees. That was not
Yeah.
walking.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys were running to the lobby, and I was like,
Well, if you ran too hard, it might have fallen out.
no. You wait long enough. It
Yeah.
comes to a point, you know.
That was cold. I mean, so
That was the
Prescott-
start of my.
Yeah,
cold
where
journey,
you
though.
had a hard time.
The next 2 days after that were pretty rough for me.
I spent a lot of
temperature-wise.
time in the cold growing up. We traveled to a lot of really chilly places, and I had been in very, very cold temperatures before. But I know you guys maybe not to the same extent. And I was, not to say I wasn't cold. I was pretty cold. I was freezing. But yeah, it was.
It wasn't even that
was rough.
cold temperature-wise.
It was
we
the
weren't
wind.
prepared
Oh, that too. Yeah.
for the type of weather it was.
That too.
We were expecting like what, 40s, 35s.
I was fully prepared for the lowest they were gonna see was like 40s. I thought it would be fine, and then we got to Flag and it was 20 something, 22.
Which wasn't a big deal though, because we were only there for the night.
That was it. Yeah. So the really cold part was the Grand Canyon, which we'll get to. But after, was there anything I missed on day 2?
No, I think that was
I think
pretty
we
much
hit
it.
everything, right?
Yeah.
We woke
So-
up and pushed to what, Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Williams.
So we woke up from our hotel in Flag, went to Williams, which is, we wanted to hit that one because it's one of the multiple Route 66 towns in Arizona. Yeah, so we did that. That scene is in the, we put that in the vlog.
Yeah.
We played the song, we did the whole thing.
I was there.
That's
I'm gonna watch
fair.
it for.
Yeah, that's fair. And so,
You'll appreciate it.
honestly,
One
yeah,
day, yes.
if he wasn't editing it when I was at his house, I wouldn't have watched it either. Just because I was like, yeah, I was there. But because he was going through, he was like, yeah, do you want to watch it? And I was like, I got nothing better to do. So,
Wait,
okay.
when did you post it?
Oh man.
A couple weeks ago?
No.
No, this was before you
It was
went
like
to Europe.
2, maybe a month and a half ago.
Was it something like that? I don't know. Anyway, so we went out to Williams, and then we went to Arizona Wildlife Sanctuary, Wildlife Park, something like that. It's basically a drive-through zoo, which is super cool. Very unique. A lot of places don't normally have that. And so we got to do the drive-through zoo, and then they also have like a normal zoo on the back end of it, where you can walk through and see all the exhibits and stuff. And that was really awesome. We got
That was
really lucky.
one of the highlights of the trip.
Oh yeah,
The
absolutely.
animals were very active that day.
Every day
Yes.
was a highlight of the trip.
No, for real.
honestly.
But Arizona we got so lucky because every single encounter that we had with wildlife, they were active, they were moving, and we just got really lucky. Everything was out.
Yeah.
And so because everything was running around and actually moving, nothing was in the holes that they live in, nothing was in like anywhere we went, we could see all the animals. And so, which is really good because I had done Arizona before. And when I went, I got pretty lucky that time as well, but there were still a couple animals that I didn't get to see the first time around. But this second time, I don't think there's anything we missed.
No, not really.
Even the squirrels were active.
Yeah, we got a cool picture of a squirrel. I got one of it like peeking over a rock. And so that's actually going in my next post. I'm doing one on Arizona. But
I don't want to put you guys on the spot here,
no,
but
go for it.
I want to know, because I don't think we really talked about this. What was your favorite animal from the drive-through portion, and what was your favorite animal through the walk-through portion? I'll let you guys think about it. I'll just do
I'll
mine.
answer. I'll answer the
you-
drive-through one right
Okay,
now.
yeah, go for it.
The bears
Arizona.
were so funny.
Yeah.
There's
They
the one
were.
that was scratching his back.
On the
And
against
the
the
one
tree.
Yes,
who
on
laid
a tree.
down. Oh, that's the same bear who laid down.
I think so.
Afterwards, yeah,
Yeah,
after
he
he was
laid
done,
down
yeah.
and his like,
lifting his head up like he's
Yes.
on his back.
yeah,
And then there's the bear that walked with us
they were pretty funny actually.
That was
next
yeah.
to the car.
Yeah,
The bears were very active.
I really liked seeing the bison. Was really cool.
That was my favorite as well.
Yeah, so it was one of the first, I think it's like second or third as you go through. It was pretty early into the drive-through
Oh,
thing.
was it?
I think so.
I think it was like second or third last.
Last.
Yes,
Right
because
after the wolf.
because
Oh no, you're right though. Because
yeah,
the
'cause
bears,
it was like
a
deers,
really big
reindeers, goats.
Yeah, there were goats,
bears,
bears,
wolves. Like,
yeah, they
there
had
was a
baby
lot
bears, they had the
before.
wolves. You go through like donkeys, you go through all that stuff, and you get to the bison exhibit, and it was like this wide open plain, and they were all hanging out right by the road, and so we drove. We were probably 30 feet away from them. And they were all just hanging out.
Probably
They were
closer,
eating their
honestly.
food. Yeah, for some of them, we got closer as we went in, and that was incredible. Seeing them so close, they were just, they were doing their thing. That I loved that. And then
Yeah.
I think for the the other part of the zoo.
The walkthrough portion.
I'll give you guys time to think about that.
I know what
Mine was the bison as well.
I know what yours is too. It's mine too.
Just because it's like you see an animal of that scale, and we all know bison are big. But when you're that close to one, man, I mean.
Yeah, you don't realize.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing goes for an animal like the moose.
Oh my god.
yeah.
A
Moose
moose
are
is like you know a moose is huge, but I mean we're talking about a moose that like people hit the car and the moose isn't hurt, the car is.
Yeah.
So it's like think about the bison the same way because
Yeah.
these animals are massive. I think they're bigger than moose, not as tall, but I think like
Maybe weight wise, they might weigh
weight-wise,
more.
Yes,
Yeah.
weight wise. Yes.
They're a lot denser,
Yeah.
but yeah, bison are massive.
Okay, walkthrough portion.
My favorite is definitely the otters.
I knew it. Me too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
you
you
guys
too.
are
Oh
watching.
wow.
Yeah.
Otters are like by far my favorite animals since I was younger.
Yeah.
So it's like an automatic.
Oh yeah. No, but the otters, like for me, I don't have any preference to them normally, but they were just really active when we were there. And when I say active, like they would go onto the rock and like stand up and look at the crowd and then jump off, and then they were swimming with each other in like circles all around. Even like there were some kids that I saw on the side like tapping the glass, and the otters came over and were just like doing little circles in front of them, like playing with the kids. Those were really cool, and they were really close to us too. The exhibit itself was pretty big, but they were hanging out on this rock that was right by the front. That were 15 feet, maybe 10.
Yeah.
They're super close, super close. And so that was really awesome. I loved the look of jaguars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so the otters were the coolest.
Yeah.
But the jaguars looked fantastic, and they were just hanging out.
I think it was a jaguar and a black leopard.
Yeah, I don't.
Or a panther. Is it a
A
panther?
panther?
I don't know.
I know that jaguars, panthers, leopards, and something else, pumas. Those four are like the exact same, except for like regional differences, I think. So I'm pretty sure they were just from different places. But there was a black one. They're like minor differences, but I've heard that they're the same outside of like regional stuff. Panthers, pumas, leopards, and jaguars. Because jaguars and cougars.
Well, cougars are North American, right?
Yes.
Or American. I think they're in South
Yeah,
America as well.
because a mountain lion is a cougar.
Yeah.
And then like pumas, I think are also North and South America.
Yeah.
Jaguars are South America. Panthers are African. And then what's the other one?
Jaguars.
No, I said jaguars, panthers.
Leopard.
Leopards are Asian, like Southeast Asia, because India has leopards.
Ah.
And so that I think it's a regional. I'm sure they have some kind of genetic difference, the spots or something, but regionally, I think that's the big one. But anyway, so there were two in there. One that was just like pure black fur, really cool looking thing, like blue eyes, really interesting.
Yeah.
And then the other one was what you think of when you think of a leopard, like the spotted, almost like a cheetah. They were both pretty cool. And they weren't too active, but they were also kind of moving around a little bit. And so I know that I got a really cool photo of, so the black panther is like sitting up looking at the audience, and then the one with the spots is like walking towards the glass. And so I got lucky with that photo where they were both kind of active, but those were pretty interesting. I like those ones a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those animals too are kind of rare to see. I've been to zoos all across the country. I haven't seen a ton of those. So that, I mean, I think that just adds another element on top of it. My favorite animal wasn't as big as those ones. It was the badger. I don't know what it was.
I thought you were gonna say the raccoon.
Oh no!
Oh,
no.
the raccoons
But that's
were
a good one for the
hilarious.
video. But the badger, I just think it's built so funny. Like it's like this like chubby thing.
Those things
that-
were chunky.
But those things are dangerous.
Oh yeah.
And you wouldn't think
Oh,
that.
they were fighting too when we got there, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, in the corner.
Yeah, they were.
They were fighting.
So there was 2 American badgers that kind of just hung out there. What?
Oh, the sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I know the cat's in the tree.
the cat is in the tree.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I don't see it.
Right over here
Oh,
on the left hand
the white
side.
cat.
Yeah.
He just climbed over.
There are a ton of like stray cats everywhere, and one of them just climbed a tree. So,
Yeah.
anyway, badgers.
Yeah,
So yeah, the badgers were pretty cool to see, but they were like these. They looked like just these fat little. Like it was hilarious. They were so chunky, so we could not stop quoting like Moto Moto from Madagascar. Every time we would see them. No, but those were really interesting.
That's what I imagine when someone says the word critter. I don't know why. But that's just what I.
That's funny.
Think,
I think of a possum.
Oh really? But see,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're all. I mean,
I
well,
think
I don't
of,
think they're
like-
related, but
Yeah,
they got the same
rodents.
looks.
I don't think of close enough.
Huh?
I'll think of mongoose.
a mongoose.
Oh yeah.
That's more local based.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
I always think of possum or raccoons. Those are the two that I when I hear. Okay, put it in the comments what you think of when you think of critter. Because when I grew up, that meant there was a raccoon or a possum outside. It usually involved us grabbing a BB gun, and that was about it. Sometimes if it was a really big stray cat, they'd say it was a critter.
the eagle sound.
Edit like an eagle flying.
Yeah. But yeah, there was critters.
Now, crazy enough, that wasn't even, well, at least for me, because I know you said that was one of the highlights of the trip, but that wasn't even
Fair
the
enough.
best part of the day, which is crazy. Because
Yeah.
that was
it was
exciting.
pretty
and
good.
that was
we had to push the Grand Canyon.
because we went to the Grand Canyon after that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's like, man, that's like Arizona is the best second place of all time because
Oh yeah.
Arizona impressed us through and through, every aspect of it, but man,
By far the best zoo I've been to. Personally. I don't know.
that was one of the best that I've been to. One of the best. I think the walkthrough portion, and because there's a drive-through that's massive, the walkthrough portion isn't as big. I think it's quality-wise it's good. Quantity, that's where you need to up it a little. But
Yeah,
you gotta think about it too. They had zoos all over the place. There was a zoo in Preston, crying out loud, and then right, and then the best zoo was actually based in Phoenix, rating-wise. So it's like they're only
Yeah.
gonna get a handful of animals too. But
Yeah.
for what that zoo is supposed to be, it was excellent. It
I
was
think having
excellent.
the drive-through aspect, it just makes it really unique. So that
Yeah.
definitely bumps the number up.
You almost feel
Yeah,
you can open your windows, right?
kind of are.
So
Yeah.
there's not really between the animals.
Is someone like cutting the grass or something?
No, dude, he's got like a dirt bike over there.
Oh my god.
Maybe move it a little closer so it still hears us.
Low budget production, guys. To be honest, okay.
Can you still see my chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can move it a little bit more this way. Yeah. There we go.
Good?
Yeah. This is as much for you guys as it is for us, but I think this is like, we're gonna look back at it one day and,
Probably laugh or something.
laugh and appreciate the smaller details that we weren't able to capture.
Pains dancing
in those
behind the
other
tripod.
things. Yeah. So yeah, we get to the Grand Canyon, and I think we were there from about, I want to say 4 o'clock ish, but we were there for a long time. I mean, we left to go eat dinner, and we came back, and we were out till probably about 11 o'clock, I think.
Yeah,
that night we were out till 11 o'clock.
Oh my god, that one was crazy.
That was crazy.
So yeah,
not worth it. That one was.
We went into the park 3 different times, and that's because we got there the first time, waited. We showed up at like 3. Sunset was at like 7, and we were like, well, we're not going to sit here on the edge for 4 hours while we wait for sunset. So we were like, all right, we were probably there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The first time, we were like, let's go get food.
No. We got food after sunset.
Well, okay, here.
Was it after?
I think,
Oh,
I think
no,
what
you're right,
thinking,
you're right.
After
'cause-
Arizona, we checked
right,
into
yeah.
the hotel and then we pushed out.
Wait. We forgot something very important. We forgot our trip to Boot Barn when we left Phoenix.
Oh,
and this is very important, not just
Yes.
because of the shopping spree that I went on, but I mean, we all put
Yeah.
some money into it. But I didn't record any of it because I was so
That's
invested into
true.
what we were
We were
doing. So we
enjoying it
need
so
to talk
much.
about this. Yes.
Okay,
There's
context.
nothing in the vlog for that.
There's nothing in the
Yeah.
vlog for that, and this is day 1, by the way.
This
Or,
is
sorry,
on day-
two,
day-
beginning of day
yes,
2,
yes,
which is
day
another
2.
reason why we were backtracked. Okay, day 2, we were supposed to go to the museum. So
It was supposed to be super fun.
Instead, we went to Boot Bar,
Yes.
which was the greatest. Okay.
Okay,
Anyway,
context.
This might have been your highlight.
One of
yeah,
them,
I think
yes.
so, yeah. So, Boot Barn is a store, naturally. They sell lots of boots. But they also sell any cowboy attire. So you can get cowboy hats, you can get, they've got ranch shirts, you can get blue jeans, any type of that. They've got the biggest selection of Wranglers I've ever seen. And, for those of you guys who know me, my dad is from Montana. We've been to the ranch, we've done all these things, and I didn't grow up in that, but I've always loved that Western style. I love that Western culture. And so, for me, as soon as I moved to Arizona, this was 2022, I bought my first cowboy hat and a pair of boots. And I mean, up there, I practically live in my jeans and boots. I wear my hat out pretty often. Now I've got 2. And then I've branched out. I've got like 3 or 4 pairs of bootcut jeans. Like I've built my collection.
I need some of those.
But so yes, they're amazing. And so I was showing them, my hats, and we were talking about all the cowboy stuff. They've seen it before in pictures, and I've brought it home on vacations and things like that. And Braden was like, yeah, I would love to get a cowboy hat to like celebrate us coming here. It's a cool souvenir to have. And so I was like, well, I know a place. Let's do it. And then you decided you wanted to pick up a hat too, right?
Well, that was the plan going into it.
Yeah.
We were supposed to buy hats.
Originally, it was
as like
just
a
2 hats.
token, right? It's
Yeah,
like, we're
yeah,
gonna go there,
it was
we're
a
gonna get
souvenir
hats,
for
right?
being in Arizona. And the town that I go to school in has the world's oldest rodeo. It's from like 1858, and it's been going on since then. And so the fact, like, there's a lot of cowboy history in Arizona in particular. There's a saloon in our college town that Bonnie and Clyde went to, and stuff like, Billy the Kid ate there, and so a lot of these people. So,
Bonnie and Clyde.
huh? They're like outlaws. Oh. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were just quizzing me.
Are you actually?
No, I actually
Oh
don't know
shit.
that.
Okay, they're outlaws. It was like the most notorious bank robbers of the Wild West. It was Bonnie and Clyde. It was like a husband-wife pair, and they would go in. They were actually the first to use Tommy guns as criminals, and so it's kind of cool because they used it. After they began using it, law enforcement developed a new firearm that shoots like 50 22 Magnum rounds in under 5 minutes. Super quick. It's got like a drum mag that sits on it. I think it's a bullpup. And then they developed that. And then the Tommy gun kind of became obsolete for a little bit. And then the reason why it came back and why you see it in so many movies is because there was a certain dude who loved it. His name was Al Capone. So when Prohibition happened in the 1920s in the U.S., bootleggers became a really big thing. Brewing illegal alcohol, speakeasies, having all these places where you can go drink because nationwide booze became illegal. And so Al Capone built an empire off of speakeasies and stuff like that. But his gun of choice was the Tommy gun. He brought it back from like Wild West. But Bonnie and Clyde is kind of the big reason that's they were some of the first outlaws to use it. Anyway, that's the history lesson for today. No, but so what was I saying? Western culture is pretty big there, and so we went in trying to get 2 cowboy hats, 1 for each of them, and I was looking at like a new pair of jeans, and then man, how much money did you spend?
A lot.
It was
Yes.
It was a little over $400.
You're avoiding saying that?
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna say it.
We'll censor that out.
Okay, later in life, you'll be glad. You'll laugh at that.
Yeah, so I bought a pair of
have zero
jeans.
regret.
I got a new one. I got
Why are you hiding
some
it?
black Cody James, and then they both got hats. And you got more than just a hat. You want to tell them about your shopping spree?
Boy, man.
I
So
wish
we,
you brought it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
oh, man.
We're for the podcast, dude. Oh,
well,
that would have been awesome.
no, but then my shit would have got ruined, you know, and
That is fair. No, you should have worn your
Well,
boots.
boots are made to be dirty.
I guess, yeah.
Then it wouldn't have gotten ruined.
Great point.
I left all my cowboy stuff in Arizona,
I treat those
so
things.
I miss it.
I treat those things like a treasure, man. Like I don't hang up my shirts and stuff. I hang up that one. Okay, like that's what I'm saying. And like,
It's that and his Viking jerseys
yes, yeah, those are the things that are hung up.
in his closet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even like collared shirts.
Oh no. I mean,
okay.
like sometimes my mom does it. You know, she's like, oh, you know, like make sure you don't fold this one. I'm like, I'm good. And she's like, okay, I'll do it for you. I mean, that's what the iron's for, right? But anyway, before we get off track, what is it called?
That's crazy.
So basically, the hat, that was the first thing that we saw when we entered the
Yeah.
store. I still remember, just go there, look to the left. Oh my God, there's a wall full of hats. And
Yep.
I already knew it. See, all the stuff that I bought, it was calling to me. So it was like, I didn't really have to worry too much about it. But we also had a really nice lady that was helping us out the entire time. And she helped me pick out some of the stuff. So my shirt that I got, I think is very loud, but I think it's a good type of loud. You guys will see it on the vlog. That's one of my favorite shirts. And then
You wore it everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It was. I mean, it looked good though. It wasn't
It was-
bad.
yeah,
like
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
It was cool.
It was, yeah. And then I already had jeans, so I just kind of rocked those, some light blue jeans, and then the boots, man. Oh my God, like that was calling to me just as much as the hat was. Like the hat, I knew which one I wanted once I saw it, and then the lady was talking because I mean she had to educate us
You
about
got
all
a
this stuff too.
Cody James.
Yeah, Cody James. Yeah.
You got. I think you got a Cody James as well. right?
No, mine's just, I don't know the other brand. I know it wasn't Cody James.
Oh,
We had two
okay.
different ones.
Oh, okay. I
I
got
think
you.
it was
I don't
different.
remember.
But yeah, but the boots. So she was saying like, you know, oh, you know, these are all handmade. So you know, whatever size you are, it might not be true to size because you know, human inaccuracy and stuff like that. And these are literally all crafted by hand. But man, I saw the boots that I wanted, and it was in my size, and I put them on. And as soon as they fit, I was like, yeah, I'm buying these. I didn't even have to second guess that because I was like, you know what, like I really wanted all of this stuff,
Yeah.
and I was like, I didn't really have to hesitate about it. And I was like, you know, there's no boot barn where we're at, and I'm
Yeah.
probably not gonna go down in the southern region for a while now. If I do, something's gonna come up. But yeah, I wanted to look like a cowboy too. So, which will bring us back to where we were, and we spent a decent amount of time
It was
there
like
too.
2 hours.
Yeah, we were there for a while.
Yes.
I love Boot Barn, and I was like, we need to go because we were there for a long.
This was
time.
also a reason we missed Red Rock.
Part of
Yeah,
it, part
yeah.
of it.
We're gonna spend that much time there. We were just supposed to grab
Part
our
of it.
hats and go.
It was supposed to be super quick. I had told them plan on like an hour max
did
because
say that.
I was like, yeah, we'll get some cowboy hats. You know, we'll get them shaped, and because the whole purpose of this too. So I wanted jeans, and I wanted to get my hat shaped because I hadn't like shaped it in a while, and I knew we were gonna be taking a lot of pictures. I wanted it to look good, and then I wanted to get them hats and like so that we all had it, and it just became such a long thing. But I think it was good though because you guys were really able to see. I know you really enjoyed it.
I was
Even
invested,
more
man.
than probably Dane and I did.
Yeah.
He
It
was looking at
fun,
like,
but this guy
yeah.
was
Oh my
time
God.
of his life.
well, he was going through like, what's the difference between a button and a pearl snap shirt? And
Oh,
he was
yeah.
asking questions like that, and I was like, oh man, he knows, like he's really into this. And so I was so glad that you got. I wanted you to get the pearl snap,
Yeah.
but the button one looked really good
Yeah,
on you.
yeah,
'Cause
no,
I
it's-
I have one cowboy shirt, and I made sure it was pearl snap, but mine is just a plain navy blue.
Oh,
and so
right,
it's
right.
it's just a ranch shirt.
Yeah,
And that's all it is. It's
Yeah, because the one that I got, like even the lady who was helping, she was like, oh, it's a little more dressy, but I was like,
yeah.
I'm only getting one, so let's make it look great. But look, the time, at least for me, it didn't feel wasted. And I don't know what you guys think. You guys can be honest. You guys don't have to lie.
No.
I think my fit turned out great.
It did.
Yeah, it did. It really did actually. It went a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Yes.
Only because
I'm
also
Asian.
part of it
No, I'm
was
kidding.
like, you know,
First
over the
Asian cowboy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Over the years, like I've put money into it, but all in smaller spurts. You know, first was the boots, then boots and jeans, and then I got maybe a couple other jeans, and then I got a hat, and like over the years I kind of did it. You showed up and just threw down some cash, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be either really good or really bad, and luckily it was really good though.
Yeah, I mean,
But I was worried it was gonna end up poorly just because you were buying it all in one go,
yeah.
but I think it worked out.
Okay, let's make this known, okay? This is a big deal for us because, I mean, we're not just going on trip. Like, for me, this was the first trip that I had paid for on my own, so I don't just have
Yeah.
money to spend. But, like, you go to a place knowing that you're gonna drop some money, you
Yeah,
know
of
what I mean?
course.
And I have never been to the southern United States before, so that was the first time for me, so I was like, hey, I'm going to go all in on this, and, you know, I mean, there's a chance that I'm not gonna go back because I can't fund these trips on my own, and my parents are not super interested in visiting those places, so I was like, hey, my opportunity's here, I have to get everything now. You know, and like you said, I mean, like the money later on,
Yeah.
you won't think about it too much. 'Cause it's
And
like,
it'll
hey,
come, but now, you know, every time you see those things, you've
Oh my
got the
God.
memory of this awesome trip.
yes,
And so, I mean, so
Absolutely.
he was wearing that when he first saw the Grand Canyon.
right.
too.
Which is why I
And so,
remembered it, because
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, you know, I was gonna talk about all that, and it made it even more worth it because I was actually there, and when you guys went down to that spot, you know, where you guys climbed down that view, you guys had to climb down some rocks, and you guys were taking
kind of
pictures.
towards
down
that.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were coming up to me and they were like, "Oh, I like your stuff." And I was like, "Oh, wow!" I was like, "Thank you." I was like, I wasn't asking for anything, but I'll take it.
That's cool.
I was like, so yeah, I was like, damn, we cooked, guys. We cooked, because it wasn't me who just came up with the entire thing on my own. Like, you guys both helped me. You guys gave your opinions and stuff. Heck, you were calling Michelle and you were asking for Michelle's opinion too.
did,
So
actually.
we made sure that we spent the time there and we
That's
got this right. And I
Even
think
that
we did.
lady was so invested.
She
in
was
you.
so
she was so into it.
following us around,
was
making
awesome.
sure you were set.
She was walking around Boot Barn with us like a private like chauffeur, and he was ready to go. She had all the. She was
Yes.
holding shirts,
Yes.
and she was like, "This one brings out your eyes, but this one matches your complexion." And she was doing the whole thing. And I was like, "This woman needs a raise." That was awesome.
She
Yeah.
did it purely for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
yeah,
could
yeah,
tell.
for the love
You
of
could
the
tell.
game. Yes,
She
absolutely.
was into it.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so sorry. Anyway, pivoting back on track now, not breaking the timeline here,
realize-
because we are running out of time.
Our
actually.
sun is
sun is
going
going
down.
Yeah, our lighting. The Grand Canyon, man, it's hard to think of things that are as spectacular as that. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not, because, you know, I just came back from a trip where I got to see a lot of architecture and monuments and stuff like that, but nothing's gonna be just nature and what it can create on its own. And I think the Grand Canyon is probably one of the best masterpieces that nature has created. And I don't think that this is an exaggeration. This isn't something that I'm trying to, you know, play up because we went to Arizona and I got to see it firsthand. Like, to think about how long it took for that to happen, how it was formed, and what it's turned into now. There's just so much that goes into it, and I think that just makes it like I'm not trying to, no pun intended, but it's layers on layers on layers
Yeah.
of just so many crazy things that make it what it is.
agree.
And for those of you who don't know, the Grand Canyon is just a bunch of layers stacked up on each other, just so you know.
No, that was pretty cool.
I mean, because then we went there to watch the sunset, and we had to take a shuttle there, which we didn't know. Again, our great planning. Like, we knew what we were gonna do. We didn't know how we were gonna do a lot of these things. But we
Yeah.
took a 15-minute shuttle up to Yaqui Point, I believe it was called.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we got to walk
It's a crazy call.
literally
Yeah.
to the edge of the canyon and watch the sunset. And
Yeah.
and, I mean, like, the sun literally went below one of the higher points of the canyon that we were kind of set up next to. But I mean, we're talking like, I mean, we literally could have fell to the bottom of the canyon. Like, we were that close to the edge. That
Yeah.
was one of the most spectacular things, I think, we got to
At some
experience.
points, we were about 3 feet away from
Yeah.
like a mile long
And-
drop. It was pretty. I mean, looking back, we got really close.
we were really close.
But
Yeah.
you know, in the moment too. Also, part of it was that day was not windy at all.
No.
So you know, the ground we were stepping on was all rock. There was no gravel. So
was
it
no
was
barrier
just
either.
like it was just big rocks, and so it wasn't like slippery or anything like that. It wasn't windy, and so we really felt like we had good footing. And we got super close to it. And then even by the time I was setting up my tripod, my phone was like 4 or 5 feet away from this canyon edge.
On the tripod that we're using right now.
Yeah, actually on the same tripod. And I just had it right there, ready to like grab it in case. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. That was an incredible view.
That was the most surreal moment, I guess, for me, because it was like, I mean, when we got there and we saw the canyon for the first time with our eyes, I was like, okay, we're here. But then when we got to kind of just soak all of that in, then it was like, oh man, like now we're starting to see like, because it was a completely different angle. Like the point that we were at, and I forget what that one was called, but that one is like, like there's barriers around it so that you don't fall off and stuff like that. There's, the concrete, the paving. I mean, we went off track, and we went into a spot where there was no barriers protecting you if you fall and stuff like that. Like it was just the rocks and you, and the view, and like you got to see the canyon closer up where you could kind of see the layers in more detail. The sun was shining on it, and that changed what that looked like as well, because you can't really see those details from afar from that general lookout point. But it was just, I was like, wow, this is incredible. I mean, who would have thought a rock formation could look as impressive as this? It was incredible. But yeah, so I've done a lot of talking.
No, I'm good. You covered it all.
Well, so I did want to actually, so I had seen it before, but it was both of their first time seeing the canyon, and you had spoken about your opinion of it in the vlog.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that, and then Dane, you did too, I think, a little bit. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys rate it from that first view? And then on another scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the second view that we saw from Yaki Point?
Okay, don't get me wrong. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And it is one of the, what is it, 7 wonders of the world?
Natural.
I think it's
Natural
one of the
wonders
natural wonders of the world. Yeah.
If I'm being honest though, 4. It was a big hole. You know what I mean? Like, the colors were great. I would totally go again. It's a big hole.
It's a big hole.
Right? Like, we did everything that I wanted to do considering the Grand Canyon. I'll give it a good 8 out of 10. It's a big hole.
Okay,
Come
no,
on.
that's solid. That's fair. That's fair.
That is
That's fair.
true.
Like,
That is true.
Unless we were
you
gonna
know
go
what?
into the canyon and hike down, I'm sure my rating would go up.
I think
but
so.
From the parts that we experienced, it's a big
Oh my God.
This dude on the dirt bike just went into a chain and ate shit in front of us. I didn't even see the
so
chain.
much for the headlight.
I didn't even see the chain until he fell, and his headlight
I think
and the
the track
dust,
didn't stop.
like,
didn't
perfectly
stop.
executed. Damn. Yeah, that was crazy. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Fuck you, like. Okay, so
I
8
will
out of
say,
10 is
I did
solid.
enjoy the second point a lot more.
Yeah.
I felt like we could see more into the canyon.
Yeah.
So I'll give that one like an 8.5.
Oh, fair, okay.
But in terms of the Grand Canyon as a whole, it's a hole.
That's fair.
It's just a hole, guys.
How about you?
Well, if we're comparing the two, 9, and the second one 10.
And a 10? Yeah.
Dude, I was actually blown away, but I think, okay, here's the thing. It's a hole. It's a giant hole. A giant, I mean, like, think about this.
Give me long enough time, I'll dig a hole that
Think,
big.
No, you won't.
think about it, okay? We drove 15 minutes to a different location, and that thing was still endless. It was still going on. And to think, okay, here's the other question. I don't know if you just, what a degenerate.
He did not have to get that close.
Okay,
know, for real.
okay. Mind you guys, you're in a parking lot. A parking lot. Look at how much space there is. I get it, it's a public space, but
For
like,
no reason.
it's probably because we were laughing. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is, it just goes on and on and on. The canyon does. And to think that man had nothing to do with it at all. It was just completely made by nature. I have no idea.
He said something next time, and then he said fuck you. But I don't know.
Yeah, you see, he was literally just mad because we watched him eat shit
Yeah.
down there and we laughed at him.
'Cause we
He
laughed.
might have heard it.
That's probably what it was.
At the end of the day, guys, stuff like this, you let it get under your skin, it just makes your day worse. I could care less. That guy's an actual loser. But
He really is a
it just goes on and on and on. It just goes on and on and on. And it was just like, I mean, like, seriously, either direction that you look in the canyon, there's no end point. It just keeps going. That's what I would, the scale was just crazy to me.
Yeah.
remember what
you don't,
you said,
you
it was
don't
like-
realize how big it is until you're there.
No, yes.
It's just, it's the same way, like, if you come to Hawaii and you look at the ocean, you're like, oh, wow. Like, it's everywhere. It's as far as the eye can see. And when you're standing at certain points of the island, especially if you go to a tip, you can literally see ocean. You can see ocean, the entire peripheral in front of you, and it's endless. And so it's sometimes people don't understand the vastness of something. And that's, I feel, how it is with the Grand Canyon. It's so vast and it's so large. It's hard to comprehend how big the hole is until you're looking at it, and then you're like, holy cow, like that is massive. And so it's pretty
It's
cool.
a hole.
It is a hole. It's a very large hole, but it's still a hole. Okay, fair. So solid ratings. I mean,
it was good. Don't get me wrong. It was
No,
one
of
it
course,
was one
of
of the
course.
coolest things I've seen.
and I think we
Still
all
a hole.
agree. Yeah, we all agree that the second view that we got was far better than the first one. The first one was still pretty spectacular though, and it was cool to see. I think we got some really cool rock formations from the first one that we didn't see from the second. But the second one, yeah, the first one you're kind of looking on, and the canyon is in front of you, so you're seeing a lot of cool rock formations, but you're kind of seeing both edges of the canyon. On the other side, you're looking down the barrel, and so you're kind of on this edge where you're looking at how far the canyon goes. So it's not just, open. You're not just looking at one side. And so it was pretty cool. I mean, definitely very interesting for us to see. It was solid.
I think what was cool about the second point too is like the amount of people, right? You go to the first point, everybody is there. That place is packed because that is the spot. That is the lookout spot.
Yeah.
But where we went to was a lot more secluded. There were still people there, but you could sit there, relax, and
We like 10
it was quiet.
people there?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, there was maybe like 3 groups, alongside us. But yeah, Grand Canyon, I mean, definitely just my life as a whole, definitely one of the best things that I ever got to see firsthand. Man, if you get the opportunity to go there, because what was the admission to get in there? I think it was like a parking.
$10 a person.
Yeah,
Parking.
yeah, for
Yeah,
parking,
that's
and that
$30 for
parking
parking?
pass lasts for a week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like
So we paid the first time, and then we went to the park 3 different times, and after that, yeah, we only had to pay the first time.
right, yeah, and yeah, that one was
Was
3
it 3
different
times?
Yes,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
had left, then we went to dinner.
Then Stargaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to stargaze, and then there were no stars.
We tried to.
It was
It
super
actually,
cloudy.
it was super cloudy. So that's another place that is like world renowned for their stars. So we saw Sedona, and we were like, oh, the Grand Canyon's gonna be even better. Let's do it. And it was completely overcast. So we didn't get any stars. So we were out pretty late, probably 10 or 11, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Decided to call it because we just couldn't see anything, and we left, slept for a couple hours, and then we were up at 4 a.m. the next morning to go catch a sunrise on the Grand Canyon. And so we,
To be fair, we shouldn't have expected much from the Grand Canyon. Like, our expectations were so high
I think so.
after Sedona.
That is true. We
That
kind
was
of went
a
into it
crazy
expecting more.
experience.
Yeah. And
Like,
so,
I hope you put the pictures on here.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
It was a
we'll throw them on the
crazy
screen because
experience
that was
to see that.
that was pretty wild. Yes, I agree. And then, yeah, I mean, the sunrise was, I mean, not gonna lie, kind of shit.
Because of
honestly,
the clouds again.
well, so it was also in the 20s, so it was really cold, and this time it was windy as hell. We were standing out there for a while, so it was sub-freezing for the first like hour we were out there, and it only warmed up to probably around like 35. By the time we were getting back in the car, I want to say it was around 35, because I remember checking and I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it was cold.
And all that time we spent in the cold, everything like that, set up the tripod, we did everything. And the sun rose behind the clouds, so we didn't actually get to see it. So we saw this awesome view of like the colors, and that was about it. So that kind of sucked. We didn't get a good one of the Grand Canyon sunrise, but the sunset was pretty spectacular. All in all, it could have been better, but we're lucky with what we got.
Oh, for sure.
We had a good time with it. And then before we run out of light,
Yeah.
what was after that? So Grand Canyon.
Yeah, Prescott.
The next day we went to Prescott. I showed them around my campus where I go to school.
And I pretty much covered all of that.
Yeah,
in the-
pretty much.
in
The
the
vlog
vlog.
went
Oh,
pretty
yeah, we
in depth
vlogged
about that.
all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to one of my favorite restaurants, the Palace. That's the saloon that all those outlaws went to. And so that was cool. You know, we went there, had some great burgers, and then drove down to Phoenix the next day. And that was the trip.
That I will say, Prescott was one thing else that went kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to stay in his dorm because his roommate was going to be out of town.
Yes.
For the
Oh
week.
my
And
God,
what was
yes,
it? The
that's
first day
right.
we got there,
He
the roommate
changed
texted
things.
him, "I got sick and he's going to be in the dorm
Yeah.
for the rest of the week."
So, yeah, originally my roommate was supposed to be out. So we were planning on just sleeping in that room. You know, I was going to take an air mattress and just put it on the ground, and we would just have, you know, bunk up that way. And so we had made all our preparations, you know, all the bookings were done. We had all the hotels, we had all the flights. They were here, and we're like the first day in.
We were at the airport when this got told to us, I think.
Were we at the airport? No.
We were driving.
I
somewhere
think we
because
were-
remember,
Oh no, yeah, the show.
He was driving. You were in the car,
Yeah.
and
I
you were
think
looking
we were,
up
yeah,
spots.
we were headed to the Papago Park thing, I think.
No, it wasn't that early.
Was it later?
It might have been on the way to Montezuma, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was the second day.
Oh, you're
Because
right.
if it was on the way to Papago, that was like after we got
That's
the car.
true, that was
Like,
the
No,
beginning.
there's no way.
So it would have been, yeah, like the second day of the trip, my roommate texted me, he had gotten sick. And so he was just asking if we had another place to stay, or he was saying, you know, use the living room. And, which is fine, but in a dorm, our living room only had there's one couch, and then there are two like chairs. But even the couch, I'm not even kidding, this wide, because it's a 2-seater. And so that's hard to sleep on. I didn't have enough space to where we could put out the air mattress and stuff. And so we just decided to do a last minute hotel room. We booked that and then ended up crashing in a hotel that night instead of my dorm. But honestly, I think that was kind of better, only because we were a lot more comfortable and we were all getting on flights. And so we wanted to be comfortable because the next morning we were traveling. So we did that and then woke up pretty early, decently early, and then drove down to Phoenix, got some food, you know, hung out at the airport for a little bit.
Airport, yeah.
And then my flight took off sooner than them. So I ended up going to California with my family for that like weekend at the end of spring break. So for a couple days I was over there because it's only like a hour flight from Phoenix. And so I flew into LA. So I left a little bit before them, said bye to these guys, and then what did you guys do afterwards? Just hung out at the gate?
Oh my God, our flight got delayed. Our flight
Oh.
got delayed, I think about 2 hours.
I actually
2.5
didn't know this.
hours.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right.
that, I was just like, because I was like, I mean, as much as I still wanted to be there, like, I mean, the
2.5
trip was over.
hours
We
straight.
had shit to
We
do,
didn't
so
have
that
plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, you got to be kidding me, because like you said earlier in the video, 7-hour flight, you know, some odd.
Yeah.
We don't need an extra 2.5 hours at the airport when we've already been there for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was just, and that's just how traveling goes. But it was better that happened going back than going to.
Yeah.
So
That is
looking at it in a positive light.
Yeah. And truthfully, it did go by pretty fast.
It did, yeah. I mean, I think the entire time I was actually editing the vlog on the thing, and I was editing my
just
photos.
chilling the whole time.
Yeah, so it was
That
like the
makes
time
sense.
went by quickly for me, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Nah, it was fine for us.
That's
yeah,
fair.
no, considering how long the flight is, yeah, I've sat on 7-hour flights like from Denver that feel a lot longer.
I
than
want to say that flight was shorter than it was supposed to be as well.
I believe so too.
I think they were able to knock out like an hour, like made up an hour
Yeah.
because of the wind.
I just realized that a lot of the photos that I took.
I don't have an answer for
Oh.
that. Is there?
I just realized a lot of the photos that I took of this trip, I'm posting on my Instagram.
Yeah.
But the photos one. So I'll have you put that.
The link
In
in the
the-
description, you guys can go
Yeah.
check that out. Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Shameless plug.
No, completely shameless. But I'll tell you why, because I was actually editing this morning on my Arizona photos. That's why. And so I was just thinking about it. But the first post I did was Phoenix. Yeah. So it was that full first day. So I've just been going through all those pictures and posting those. So that's actually, yeah. Watch the vlog, because that'll be the best thing. But if you don't want to sit up through the vlog,
Yeah.
you can look at the pictures on Instagram. You posted too.
I
And so
posted
the,
my
the
stuff,
Grand
yeah.
Canyon you can see on his Instagram, and then mine. By the time you're watching this, there'll probably be something up.
I have no idea when I'm gonna post
Maybe,
this.
yeah,
I have no
yeah.
idea how long it's gonna take to post this.
I don't even know.
How long is it going?
But
We're at an hour 40.
this podcast is a supplement to the
Well,
vlog.
it's
So
like 7:45.
obviously,
Yeah,
whether
it
you're
is.
watching this first or you already watched the vlog and you're watching this after, it goes either way. But yeah, I think now's a great time to wrap up the vlog. And I think I wanted to say this. This I think podcast pretty much summarizes kind of what I wanted to go. Well, not exactly, didn't totally go to plan, but like the spirit of it, because it's just literally just the boys sitting here. Okay, we're having a conversation. Literally from the time that the sun is up till the sun goes down. Like this is literally how it goes. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need to
I
tell
do
anyone
like
that.
the
A lot of us
outdoor
experience
podcast.
that. Yeah.
But my legs are itchy. There are lots of bugs.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Yeah, maybe we're
We
past it.
decided, I think, maybe about 15 minutes before we were picked up where we were gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so here's, okay, this is the thing, guys. We can take a lot of lessons out of this thing, okay? First, plan better and
it seems
go
like my whole life.
into
is less-
detail. Yes,
Yeah.
plan better, okay? Because, you guys heard from the trip, we had a plan, not an in-depth one. And the same thing goes for this podcast.
Yeah.
So I think that this podcast was a good lesson, and it was also a good reflection of what our trip was like.
We also went into that trip thinking it was so well planned.
Yeah,
We really
I mean,
did.
to be honest, it could have gone a lot worse. Like at
It was-
least we were in the
No,
places
yeah.
we needed to be.
It was well planned for us.
Yeah, for us.
For a
For us.
first time trip, fully
Yeah.
planned on our own.
Yeah.
And
It
you
was
know
good.
what? It was that one Tuesday was the only time that we didn't stick to times. And truthfully, we still hit everything we wanted to that was open. The only thing we missed that we were late for was Red Rock.
Yeah. That was the only
so timeline wise,
To be fair, was that one of the biggest things?
it
that
was.
there
It
is to
was.
hit?
It was like
Yeah,
the entire
but
reason we went to
all
Sedona.
good.
But yeah, but when you think about it though, I mean we weren't late for anything outside of Red Rock Park. That was the only thing on the entire trip that we weren't late for, or that we were late for. And then the
Yeah.
two things the museum and Lowell Observatory, we couldn't control that. They
Shame
happened to
on
be
you.
closed. So yeah, Tuesdays in Arizona
Slowly
are
disappearing in this camera.
Braden's like most. Yeah, for real. I know. Right now, it's just like all our clothes.
This is a real, like, being true to the podcast now.
Yeah.
Right? It's like just audio.
That is
Um,
true.
Yeah.
Now you know that, like, see what we do for you guys.
The second lesson I guess we could take from this is if you think trouble is near, trouble is probably near. And we should have left before the sprinklers went off.
Oh.
Because that was a crazy portion, and I am gonna keep that. I mean, obviously you guys saw it already, but that was
No,
kind
we
of
gotta
funny.
keep that in.
I had to keep that in because it was like these two guys looked up and they were like, yeah, there's no sprinklers here. And then the sprinklers
Hey,
appeared.
Okay, hang on.
No, I'm not blaming
There
you guys.
were
I'm
there
not
were no
blaming you guys.
sprinklers on my side. What
Whoa,
happened?
whoa. Whoa.
What happened
There were
was
sprinklers everywhere.
I know.
Everywhere.
What happened was all the sprinklers that were far out, I saw them and I was like, oh, those are really far. And then they all spun.
Oh, yeah, that's...
And so there were no sprinklers around us that were facing us until they were. Then they started to spin, and because they were rotating, they got everywhere. And so the sprinklers on his side and the sprinklers on my side, they flanked us. We got hit. It was bad.
Yeah, we also should have went all the way up when we checked.
Probably.
Not just like 2 feet away.
Yeah, we did walk. Like, we were still in camera frame the entire time we were checking. Wait, we probably should have gone farther, but that's okay.
It worked out okay.
We should have just set up here in the first place.
Honestly,
Honestly,
we should have.
In the future,
Yeah.
I think we
But
will.
you guys did a great job of picking everything up. I did because I was
oh my
preoccupied
God,
trying to
I
make
was
sure that
grabbing everything.
I was still interacting with the camera and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have seen the clip of Scott Henson from NFL Red Zone, but they had a fire alarm going
Yes.
off during
Oh,
his thing, and
yeah,
he was like,
yeah.
"I'm staying in this building." I had to be Scott Henson of the water sprinkler event of the first podcast on this channel. The final lesson is don't be a degenerate. Okay, it's free to be a nice person. It's also free to not be a dick. So that's that. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That is true. Yeah, that guy got salty because we were laughing when his friend fell. But okay. The road that they were biking on, you can see there are 2 yellow posts, and then there's a chain link fence that goes across it. So you know what? Darwin was right, and natural selection really is this incredible thing. And I'm sorry, if it was one of them, I would have laughed harder. Like, I don't... So the fact
what did
that...
they think we were gonna do? Just run up to them and kiss their knee?
I know. I was like, oh, I'm
did see
sorry.
somebody
Do
do
you
that.
have
They
a
would've laughed
boo-boo?
too.
Like, yeah.
Like, don't
And
be
so I was
salty,
like-
you're the guy who fell.
Okay, dude. And it wasn't even... The dude who went by us wasn't even the guy who fell. It was his boy. And so I was like, I don't know why you're mad. And that was so stupid.
Then you know what? I got up to not because I was like gonna say something. I was just gonna stand there so he didn't get that close.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he's riding away and he goes, "Laugh at me next time, bitch." And I was like, "Yeah, you say shit when you're driving
Yeah.
away."
Bro,
Like,
I will laugh
fucking
at you.
And we will, yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Come up to
Okay,
us,
like... Yeah.
What are you gonna do if you're
I will
driving
laugh
away?
at you the next time and the time after that and every time I see you fall. That was funny. I'm sorry. Like,
Dude, I'd laugh at a baby falling. It's not
exactly. Like, okay.
for
That's
everyone. I'm laughing, bro.
For
Yeah.
everyone. Like, it
No,
wasn't
for
personal.
real. No, it wasn't. I don't care who you
I
are.
don't know who
Now
you
it's
are.
personal. Now
It's
I'm gonna
funny.
laugh
Yeah.
because he was a dick. So now I'm gonna go out of my way. But
I mean,
like,
okay,
yeah.
here's the thing.
I am completely gone. You can see
Yeah.
my shoes, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and Dane too.
I will say, I
It's
It's because you're wearing
It's
white.
because I'm wearing white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. Okay,
Yours is light, too.
we understand.
Fuck you, I'm dark. I definitely disappeared first, at least my
You
face.
definitely did.
It definitely was the first to go.
And I'm completely gone in like my gray and black.
It
I've
went
disappeared.
just the way you expected it to. But yeah, I mean, look here. We understand. We are in a public space. We are in a public park right now doing this, okay? And there was 2 people earlier actually on dirt bikes. One guy was actually very courteous of us. He was
Yeah,
standing in
yeah.
the corner. He saw that we were recording, and then kind of, I mean, the bike's gonna make noise, but he went away. I think as slowly as he could.
And he went in the opposite direction too.
And yes, and then
But-
the other guy
yeah.
slowly went away. But my God,
Well, and when you see how
can you see
wide,
anything?
yeah, I know. You might be able to see how wide this actual thing is. Yeah, I know Dane panned it over. And this dude was right next to the truck for no reason.
Yeah.
No,
You see
no,
the trail marks
no.
where he
He,
drove
I mean,
by.
Yeah, right
he
here.
literally came within probably 3 feet of the tripod, and it was like that was not much
He was
of a
definitely
statement,
within a foot of my truck.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
really
I thought
close
it at
to
first.
your-
I thought he
your
didn't
truck,
realize
yes.
it at first.
Yeah.
Bring
That's
the
why I was
tripod,
just gonna
yeah.
like smooth. so that
And then he
wouldn't do
did it again, and
Yeah.
I was like,
And then he drove
you know
away and
you're
he had
gonna
to
lose
say
the
something.
fight against the truck bed, right? That was my.
Yeah.
I was kind of. I didn't want him to like damage your truck, but I wanted your truck to damage him. I just thought it'd be funny, you know. If he just like went smack into the truck bed right behind us, that would have
Yeah.
been hilarious. Anyway,
I think this has gone on for long enough. It is now so dark you cannot see us on the screen. And all the like the lights are on.
I think we should
The
go.
street lights
Yeah, I
and
think we
stuff.
should go. But this was I'm not even gonna call it an episode. This is just the first podcast here. We really wanted to make sure that we covered all of the details that
Yup.
weren't covered in that vlog, just for the sake of our memories later on, and just so you guys can get some more insight on what we experienced in that already lengthy vlog. But heck, why not add some more to it? Because there was a lot of things that we did in there that we experienced that we didn't get to talk about.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Walmarts.
On there. Oh yeah, I mean, heck, yeah. The time where it was like, oh yeah, is your friend here? It's like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
what do you
we're
mean?
fine.
No, he's in the car. He doesn't have his ID. He's totally 21.
Yeah.
And then we go to an alcohol store while Dane waits in the car,
Yeah.
so we can go get it after.
Unfortunately.
Right down the street from the Walmart. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching or listening to this video. Hopefully y'all were entertained. Go check out Armaan's pictures in the description below. Go check out his channel. Do you want me to throw anything of yours in the...
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys all later.